event. So I'm going to be going over the 3 loner decks today, and also a little bit of information on the event. And I'll go over some other news as well, but first of all, please like, share, and subscribe. Consider ringing that notification bell, whether you want to ring it for the content that you like the most, which will be personalized. Just all of my content or none of my content. Either way, you can do so by selecting the bell and selecting personalized, all or none. So yeah. Okay. So let's get into this with the Synchro Festival. And I know I really did try to get all of the videos like changed up so they look all nice and stuff, but I was almost able to, but I missed the ball on one of them because I just ran out of time. So, but by the end of the week I should be able to. This is probably going to be a much less busy week, so that's really good. But I guess I can show off the new accessories real quick, which isn't... I always showed off the Abyss actors, so it's really the cyber universe I didn't show off. Which that's what it looks like. Pretty cool. You can... I'll read it. A field where abstract things such as data and energy take form and appear. It is a beehive-like network and ever-expanding universe. Space where things like data ore and data storms continue to come into existence. Actually, I think like you're getting a pretty good look at it from here, so maybe I don't even need to go into a shop. And then the protectors, here's what it looks like. A protector depicting a dragon holding a piece of its power as foretold in ancient tales. For those who seek to reign over, not only the Dragon Kings, but also over both light and darkness. But I can show you how much they are at least. So yeah, the Abyss Actor's current call, just as mine, it's 250 gems. And none of these, I don't think, are going to expire anytime soon, so that's good. The Bestial Labellion is 100 gems, that's basically the average for sleeves. And then Cyber Universe is 600 gems. So if you want to get them all, that would be a total of 950 gems. If you want to get them all. Almost giving up 10 packs there, so it's up to you if you think it's worth it or not. Let's see, I guess card report, like, if it's basically like the regular report, but except you're not reporting players, you're reporting cards. So maybe if you think a card is being used too much because you're seeing the usage range, you're like, oh, that's crazy, it shouldn't be seeing that much play. Or if you see the win rate off the charts, you might be thinking, oh, it shouldn't be winning that much. Like, this card is basically carrying the decks here. Well, now you can report them. And maybe Konami will listen and get it, hit it somehow on the next Forbidden Limit list. But of course, there's never a guarantee. Kind of like leaving your comments in a survey. Just because you report something doesn't mean it's going to be a guarantee that they're going to fix it or change it on the ban list. But of course, if it's like a bug instead of just like you saying like, oh, it's way too high of win percentage, they'll probably like be more thankful that you know it's a bug and probably will try hard to fix that. But like if you're just saying, oh, the win rate's too high, like no promises that it's actually gonna get hit just because you said something. Of course, like that may just be because they know more than you. So, and then this is how you can set it if you want. If you do actually care enough to report cards. I probably won't be doing this because I don't think I really care that much, but I mean, I'm certainly thankful for the people who do want to go out of the way to point out bugs, or go out of the way to maybe point out like cards with too high of win percentages. Yeah. So there you go. Here's the instruction on that if you like. Okay, and then the tryout duel we already saw. I might as well click on it just to get it out of there. And I think that's basically it. So now I can look at the Legend Anthology roles. So here's the Legend Anthology. I'll just click on that. And it takes me almost there. Unfortunately, not all the way there, but I just go on this. Here's the event info. So yeah, basically the same as all the other festivals. You collect medals. You get 500 for winning, 50 for losing. I guess they're just like giving you some ideas of cards and archetypes that you can play. Like, oh, I think that those are the 3 loner decks. So this might be a sneak peek at 3 loner decks. Hero, Dragon, and Cyber Dragon might be them. But yeah, like those are some ideas of like decks you can be used that will be more full power than maybe some of the others. Although you can certainly use other decks and they'll be near full power enough to be able to compete. Like, I'm not even using any of those. I'll show off my deck later though. The deck that I went with. I don't think it's too bad. I think it's actually pretty good. I've been getting pretty good at building my own decks, but of course when it comes to ladder, I kind of want to like use kind of the ideas of what I see based on the top ladder decks. Though I kind of do make it my own too by not really looking at it too much. And it seems to be working, so that's good. And I have like a friend's throwing a tournament pretty soon, so that should be cool. And he's throwing it right in time with the is it like regionals or YCS? Well, whatever it is, that may like make it so that the more competitive players don't show up. So maybe I'll have an even easier time of maybe even winning. That would be cool because I haven't won one of his tournaments yet. I mean, I only did participate in one of his tournaments, but it would certainly be nice winning one of them. That'd be cool. And then I can be known as the guy who won one of his tournaments. I'm not gonna say his name because like confidentiality reasons. Anyway, so I'm not exactly sure. Oh yeah, the info for this event. Yeah, and then it tells you how you can save replays. That's pretty standard. And then of course, like you don't earn medals for surrendering. So it says you can earn medals whether you win, draw, or lose. Like, but I never drew a match, or drew a duel. So like, if anyone wants to like let me know how much you get for drawing, feel free because I'm pretty interested in that. Oh yeah, and then here's the Forbidden Limit list for those of you who are interested in the Forbidden Limit list for this event. The Legend Anthology Academy. Not sure if this is new or not, but it might be. Yeah, there's a lot of ban cards. A lot of the ban cards are either standard bans or bans on cards that like are really powerful and don't really fit the event. Although there's still a lot of like cards available that I'm not sure if they were like necessarily used in the Duel Academy, which is like more GX, I think is what they're basing it on. There's still quite a few cards that I don't know if they really fit that. But anyway, here's some of the ban cards. Of course, some of the more powerful links. But I think this may be like more like cards that would have seen play in the anime, no matter like what, like no matter if it was like the newer Vrains or the older GX or like even back in Duel Monsters days. But yeah, there's still like a few archetypes that seem a little bit of an odd one out that you can still play. That's certainly, and some of them are certainly pretty strong. But yeah, I think they hit a lot of the good cards. Like, can't really play Eldritch, can't really play, like, a lot of the good nightmares are gone. You can still play Axis Code, which is pretty cool. So if you're, like, still running, like, a big Link deck, that Axis Code is going to help you. Then again, it did say play in the anime, so that does make sense that you can play it. Although it certainly is much stronger. Well, no, maybe is it much stronger than it was in the anime? Or how different was it in the anime? Was it even different? I don't even know. I'm not. I don't know if it was different or not. But yeah, a lot of the good draw cards also banned, so it becomes a little. So maybe decks get a little bit less consistent, unless they have Enoch type ways of like flying cards, which a lot of decks do. It does kind of stink though if you really were trying to count on draw spells to help out your deck, because pretty much all the good ones are just gone, are just banned. A lot of the floodgates are banned too, so it doesn't mess with the flow of the duels. Like even like macro and dimensional are banned. Yeah. Of course some of the ones that were banned already. Oh yeah, all the bear statues are banned so that like you can't keep your opponent from special summoning. Although I noticed that Testudo is not banned, so I've been putting that in my deck. I never brought it out because it's a little bit hard to bring out, but I've put in a few ways of trying to bring it out. And then if I can bring it out, that could be pretty fun, because like then I can like stop my opponent from being able to special summon anything that's like, I think 1800 or higher attack, which doesn't really hurt me that much since a lot of my monsters are puny. But it probably will hurt my opponent a little bit until they get rid of it. Oh yeah, of course the Beast is banned. Pretty oppressive cards, so yeah, I'm kind of glad that's at least banned for this event. There's another draw spell. And, oh yeah, a lot of the hand traps are banned, but Effect Failure is not banned because it technically is an anime card that was used in 5Ds. And also Infinite Impermanence is at 1 for some reason. I don't think it was used at all in the anime, but for some reason it's at 1. Oh yeah, and a lot of the Solemn cards at 1 too. Yeah, Mistake is another one of those floodgates. Tanky, so that gives a little bit less consistency to any Beast Warrior style deck, but well, hopefully they'll still be okay. Herald, so I can't just go into that with a tune, like with level 2 tuner and non-tuners. I mean, it kind of stinks, but like I've been finding ways around it. Oh yeah, and the Solemn Strike, I think that's the only Solemn card that is actually banned. All the others are like 1. Wow. Yeah. Hopefully it's okay me going through it like this, like not like looking, like scrolling through all of them. Just kind of like mentioning a few of them. Like if you want to look at yourself like in more detail, you can always feel free. But yeah, I just want to get through this. And there's another oppressive. Oh yeah, Evenly Match is banned. So like you don't have to worry about that, which is pretty cool. That's not really an anime card though anyway. Call by the Grave is banned, but that's okay because it's not as many hand traps. Though you can still use DD Crow at 1, which is kind of worse Call by the Grave since it doesn't actually negate. But it is good, like, if they're activating, like, something that targets a Call in the Grave, since they're forced to pick the target, and then you just banish whatever the target is. But just make sure you know the difference between if it's, like, target versus not target, because if it doesn't target, and they have more than one choice, they'll just go for the choice that you don't banish. Yeah. Oh, yeah, Alpha's banned. Kind of sad about that. Giving a little bit of a hint at the deck I'm playing. Pot of Prosperity, another one of those pseudo draws. It only draws one, but like picks from a very big pool usually, which makes up for its draw. Well, kind of draw one ability. Is that a draw, or is that just like an ad? I'm not exactly sure. Of course, all the sprites and runics are banned. A lot of the Verna Sylphs are banned. Mathmax, Scareclaws, Bestials. So you can't play those new cards, unfortunately. Oh yeah, and then Spring and stuff. At least a few of them are banned. Some of the Dogmaticus are banned. But like, I mean, they kind of made up for that by like having a whole event that was more focused on showing off at least the new cards with the Springans and the Dogmatica and the Abyss Actors, which I'm not sure if any of them are really in. Maybe the Abyss Actors you can use. I'm not exactly sure. I don't know if I know some or not. But yeah, the Goatee's also banned. I mean, sure, like with the Duel Trial, you couldn't actually like choose what you wanted to play exactly. But at least you still got to play with a few of the new archetypes. A few of the new cards for the set archetypes. For those archetypes. And then here's a limited. Of course, the Exodia is limited. So you can still play Exodia, but that makes sense because it was in Duel Monsters anyway. Raigeki. So you still have a few ways of destroying the board with Raigeki and Harpy's Feather Duster, so that's good. You also have Morphing Jar. There's one of the Psalms I was talking about. King Tiger Wanghu is kind of a floodgate. I mean, Thunder King Ryo is also kind of like... So I guess if you really wanted to play with like floodgates, you could use those. They may be a little bit worse since they're monster-based floodgates, and so you have to like give up a normal summon for them. But, I mean, they're still there if you want to use them. I mean, you still have a few draw spells, too. Just not, like, as good, like, One Day of Peace. You kind of have to give up inflicting damage in order to activate that. 1-for-1 is still good for those, if you're playing, like, with a lot of level 1 monsters. Trickstar Reincarnation won't be as impressive because... there's no Drill and Lockbird, so at least you won't have to worry about them just like making so that you can't play when you have no hand. Alta guys have been hit, but I guess you can still technically play them if you want, just arguably just like way worse than they would have been. So likewise with Silent Mangraids, maybe Lunar Lights, maybe like a few of the rockets. But yeah, there's the access code. So if you want to play that, you still can. I decided not to just because I'm not really playing a lot of links. But like I think I have enough disruptions already. I don't really need to play access code. Yeah, you can still play Ice Dragons Present 1. I think I am. So like that's cool. Maybe you can still play the Phantom Knights. I'm not exactly sure. You can still kind of play like Leoless and Moonincest, but it makes more sense for the Moonincest to still be here, sort of, because like they've reigns, but they still wanted to hit them a little bit because they might have been a little too oppressive otherwise. So they are still willing to hit like more anime inspired decks as well if they still would be a bit oppressive. And then there's like very few semi-limits. So there's still Change of Heart if you want to have some shenanigans with that. Limited Removal, Necrophase. Yeah, I'll just scroll through them so you can see it. So I devoted the first third to the time to showing off these. Yeah, and another reason why they may not like hit like all of the cards for a certain archetype that's more oppressive. Again, it's because like, are you really gonna be playing these much like without the without like Eldritch for this, or like you don't really have access to many of the sprites. Are you really still going to be playing Sprite Starter? I mean, I guess you technically can if you want. Maybe you can play with like a few of the lesser sprites like Red and Carrot, but like, are you really going to do that? I mean, I guess it's there like if you want to like put out a few more negates, but I'm not sure if it's like really worth it without like the good ones. At least that's how I feel. Yeah, and then let's show off the loan index now with the last 2/3 I have here. I gotta go a bit quicker because because I dedicated the first like 20 minutes to like showing off the information, which I still think is important, but that'll just mean I go a bit quicker here. So I'll try to do so I can get through all of these. And then if I just miss the ball, I can always like scroll through. Maybe I could still scroll through. Like maybe I could just pick out a few to talk about and then just scroll through all of them, so you, like those who want to see like them in more detail can. Anyway, the first deck here is called Friendship Unite, a new hero. And the deck description reads: a deck based around Armed Dragon combined with Elemental Hero Neos. Since many of the Armed Dragon Thunder monsters have effects that activate when they are sent to the graveyard with the intention of activating the effect of a Dragon type monster, discarding them from your hand to activate the effect of Keeper of Dragon Magic will enable you to add polymerization cards to your hand with little cost. Fusion summon Armed Neos and use your deployed Armed Dragon monsters and Elemental Hero Fusion monsters to unleash an attack. So while the Armed Dragon Thunders aren't primarily like anime cards, they are inspired by the original Armed Dragons, which is like a deck that Chaz used in combination with those dramas. Anyway, so Elemental Hero Neos, not really much to talk about here, just a normal monster. Just gonna be used to go into your fusion play, since he's not even really a thunder, or I mean a dragon, so he's not really gonna help the Armed Dragon Thunders as much. But a few of these, yeah, a few of these like you can like just use like a level 4 low effect monster for this, so you can technically use one of your Armed Dragon Thunders as long as it's low enough. So like that's at least a little generic. And this one, they're all wins, so like all of the Armed Dragon Thunders are wins, so like you can also go into that using using a combination of the Armed Dragon Thunders. Yeah, a lot of these, like, you can't use the Armed Dragon necessarily, but, like, there's also that Armed Neos that they were talking about, and this really does call for an Armed Dragon monster, so I didn't realize that they, like, combined the two. So I guess, like, they were meant to be combined at least a little bit. And then here's the rank 7s as well. I don't know if you're gonna be getting 5 docks into your graveyard anytime soon. So I guess you're mostly just looking at it for its like a little bit of interruption for the opponent. Unfortunately, it's only disruption on your turn because it's not a quick effect. And then this one is the other rank 7. It's just more disruption, more destruction. But if you do use a dragon as material, you will be able to make it a quick effect. So that's pretty cool. Unlike the other guy, this can more easily become a quick effect. You just need to use one of your level 7 dragons as material. Anyway, so here's some of the more notable monsters that the Neos can be used for. Not sure how you bring out Flame Wingman. Like, you don't have the elemental heal, like avian and stuff. So how you bring out Flame Wingman? I don't even know. I don't know how you bring out Flame Wingman. But I guess, there you go. There's Flame Wingman. I'm not sure how you can bring him out. Neos Knight. Yeah, this is just like one to like help you beat over big monsters. Brave Neos is probably one of the better Neos fusions. It's probably not going to be like ending up gaining a bunch of attack unless you like put in a bunch of like fusions into your graveyard as well. But I mean, like, he is good for allowing you to add like another spell or trap that also lets you fuse. Or you probably have other elemental heal Neos support cards. But it does have to specifically call for elemental heal Neos. So maybe you only have a few. So you can use this though. You can bring this out with him though. And then Elemental Heal Great Tornado is for once again helping to weaken the opposing side. This can even but it does weaken the whole opposing side, so maybe you'll be able to like actually destroy multiple monsters instead of just weakening one to help you destroy just that. Or it can also help you get in for more damage too. It is nice that it also has the defense as well in case they're trying to put them in defense. Shining Neos Wingman. So I think it's somehow like just supposed to be like using him from the X deck, but I'm not sure how you do. Like maybe you guys send him to graveyard somehow and then use him from material. That lists on an Elemental Heal Fusion monster. That lists Elemental Heal Neos. But that still doesn't list Elemental Heal Neos. So I don't know. Still don't know how you bring him out. And then this one you somehow bring out using the Flame Wingman. But I'm still not sure exactly how you do it. But yeah, it's pretty cool. It's basically a board wipe if you can somehow manage to bring him out. Magma Neos, this actually has a pretty good effect for when he's shuffled back. So even if you have to shuffle him back, he at least returns everything with him to either the hand or the X deck, depending on like where they need to be sent. Storm Neos, yeah. See, like you may be using like ones that shuffle back in, but like these are the better ones that actually like give you effects. This one is the arguably better one though, because this one shuffles all cards on the field into the deck. Not exact. Yeah, and then like you can just bring these guys out through like Miracle Contact, so you don't need to use the Neospatian, since you don't have any Neospatians. Yeah, and once again, this is another one with an effect that has a pretty decent effect when shuffled back, although they do have good on-field effects too. Allowing you to destroy all spells and traps. This one can gain a whole bunch of attack if the like field is stacked. Nebula Neos draws you cards and also negates, and also just straight up banishes when it leaves the field for its own effect to shuffle back into the X deck. And then Wake Up You Elemental Heal, one of the newer ones that allows you to destroy a monster, even if it won't necessarily destroy by battle. But since it's after damage calculation, I think you actually need to like keep this thing alive. But it's still really good when you attack into a monster that has really high defense, and then you'll be able to like destroy that monster, and as well as dealing damage with the attack of that monster. It also, wait, no, special summon one from your hand or deck, so this is still not from the X deck, so, but, I mean, it allows you to bring out, Elemental Neos, or the Sphere of Neos, something. Anyway, Omnios, this is, I think, one of the other newer cards. Yeah. This can act as like basically a board wipe for opponent's monsters. As long as you pick something with like a high enough level, basically. So if you have that level 10, that should like be able to like destroy a lot of the opponent's monsters, if not all of them. Oh, here we go. This is how you can bring out the Flame Wingman or the Shining. I think that's how you do it. You bring out the Flame Wingman, the Shining Neos Wingman using this. And I think this is how you do it. If you didn't want to bring out one of the other elemental heroes. But I think that's how you do it. And basically, if you're choosing between these two, I think this one is pretty much always gonna be the right choice, because like, why would you pick Flame Wingman over this one? Wait, I mean, I guess yeah, because they do basically have like the destroy monster, like inflict some damage effect. But this one is basically more of an upgrade version. Anyway, Elemental Cosmo Neos. Yeah, this is another one of those ones where like, instead of like having to use a polymerization spell, similar to these, you just shuffle the materials back in. Although you can't really do that, so you can just use the Miracle Contact instead, since you don't have Neospatians. And then this one is pretty cool because it makes it so that your opponent can't activate anything. And then it does shuffle itself back in, but this time it just destroys everything. So it can be arguably a less powerful version of, I mean, yeah, it really is a less powerful version of Nebula Neos, because this banishes them all face down. But at least that means that like your cards won't be banned. Well, this only destroys your opponent's field, so I guess there's a payoff there. There's a little bit of a give or take with that. Anyway, so going back to the main deck, Dragon, yeah, see, like they're combining the Dragon Thunders with the regular Dragons to give you as many like of those Dragons as you can, but they're only playing the regulars at 1, because even though they're not very good, they can still be useful for helping to get you to the higher level Dragon Thunders. Since this can still how are you getting to high level Dragon Thunders with that? I mean, at least they count as Wind Dragons, so maybe that's why. Because they at least still count as Wind Dragons, so they give you more discard fodder for this guy, allowing you to more easily special summon this from your hand. Not exactly sure why they're there, but you can bring them out maybe if you want. But I think most of the time you're just going to opt to bring out the Dragon Thunders instead, because they have arguably much better effects anyway. Although you can still bring out the regular Dragons with these guys. Yeah, because this just says Dragon, doesn't say Dragon Thunder. But I think most of the time you're gonna like focus on the Dragon Thunders. Eventually you want to get to this guy too. since he has he has really nice effects that can keep growing the more attack he has, and eventually you can maybe get to a point where you can just destroy all of the cards on the field, which is pretty nice. But once he gets to like even 1000 plus, that's pretty good, because that's actually a quick effect, allowing you to like destroy a card on the field as a quick effect. So that's pretty nice. And then Lightning Dragon Roller is used to help bring out the Tempest. Yeah. And it's pretty easy to bring out Tempest with him, because you're playing a bunch of dragons and or wind monsters. The elemental heroes don't really help since they're not winds, but like the armed dragons and everything are. The keeper isn't a wind though. Keeper's just there to act as another one thing to help you search for the fusion stuff, help you go into your fusion plays. Maybe even helping you to bring out your fusion materials from the graveyard, although they have to go into face down events. But I mean, you can still use them as fusion materials while they're in face down offense for some reason, so that's not too bad. And then dragons. Yeah, I'll probably just scroll through it if I notice anything that pops out. But yeah, basically your whole plan is to either go into a few of your fusion plays, or to try to bring out the Dragon Thunder level 10. So you can have like two different plans you can go for. Not that the like lower leveled dragons are too bad, but they're mostly there, like at least Dragon Thunders are mostly there to help you like turbo out into your Dragon level 10 eventually, your Dragon Thunder level 10. And then these have like decent effects, like, so maybe if you want to bring out some of these, maybe you could have a little bit of easier time bringing out some of these guys. But like really it's the Dragon level 10 you're mostly looking to go into, since this one has like a few really good effects, and it can't control of it can't be switched, so in case the opponent's try like playing a few cards that like can change control, like Change of Heart for instance, which is I think at 2. Neos Fusion, yeah, one of your ways of fusion, probably one of your better ways, because like it can use materials from the deck as well, so that's pretty nice. Yeah, Dragon Blitz is like another way to help you turbo out into your other plays. Yeah, like that's, I mean, this spell is pretty nice to help you like to help get you to the even better effects for the Dragon Thunder level 10. I mean, it starts out at base 3000, so you should be able to get the first 4 effects, like just like bringing them out initially. You just have to work a little bit to get to 10,000, and then Dragon Lightning kind of helps with that. Yeah, and then Dragon Flash can help get your like plays going by bringing out the a level 3 Dragon from your deck. It can also be useful if you want to bring out the Dragon, the regular Dragon level 3, although most of the time the Dragon Thunder will probably just overshadow it. But it's kind of cool like to like be able to bring this after your opponent attacks, like so you don't have to worry about this being destroyed. But like yeah, like the Dragon Thunders probably just overshadow them. And then Dragon Thunderbolt is the last one. This is another basically way to help get the Dragon Thunder to its last effect, which you don't necessarily need to do to make it good, but it's still nice getting up there if you can. So yeah, there's the first deck. I really gotta go fast. Here's the next deck. It's Chaos from the Spirit Gates. And there's a deck description if you would like to read it. I don't know if I really want to, like, because like I'm running out of time and I really need to get through these decks. Okay, so yeah, but yeah, I think I ran into this loner deck at least once. It's not too bad. Yeah, Chaos Summoning Beast, there's a pretty easy way to deal with this. Like, if you, like, negate the effects, like, this is a little bit easier to deal with since, like, it doesn't happen on summon. So you have more time to negate the effects so that it can't attribute itself to, in order to, like, special summon one of these guys out. It looks like you're playing one of each. And you're also combining with the Yubel, which is interesting. Anyway, so yeah, Chaos Summoning Beast probably one of the better ones. Since it can just like special summon one of your big guys without having to commit a lot of resources with them, since normally you would have to tribute 3 of something, but like with this, all you have to do is tribute this guy and then you can bring them out that way. And then Dark Beckoning Beast can help get some of your plays started. Likewise with Opening can also help get your plays started. Like he can either add one your Uriah, Haman, or Raviel if you're missing any of those, or you can just help get the Dark Beckoning Beast or the Chaos Summoning Beast to your hand if you already have them in your hand. So like it can still like help with get quite a few of your play starters, or yeah, play starters. And then Chaos Core, just another support card for them, for the 3 Sacred Beasts. I guess it does allow you to mill them, which, I mean, you can, I think there are ways of getting them from the graveyard, so like milling them isn't so bad, and it helps get them out of your deck. Yeah. It can also help save off battle damage too, which can help keep you alive for a little bit longer. Mystic Tomato is another monster that can help bring out your beast, your summoning beast, or the beckoning beast. Although if it brings out the beckoning beast, you won't be able to get the effect, so it's probably better. Unless you really want the extra normal summon effect, it's probably better to just bring out the Chaos Summoning Beast with it. Although you could also bring out Chaos Core too. Like, what you could do though, like one play you could do with this, is you could bring out Mystic Tomatoes up until the point when your opponent's out of attacks, and then you can bring out Chaos Summoning Beast to guarantee that you'll be able to keep it. But you could also bring out Dark Summoning Beast if you want to, since it also has little attacks, so you can bring it out. Unfortunately, even though this guy technically has 0 base attack, you can't bring him out with Mystic Tomato, because it must be special summoned via a certain way. Although you could also use a Mystic Tomato to bring out the Yubel, since this doesn't have a special summon clause. So I think that's mostly like what you're planning to bring out with the Mystic Tomato, the Yubel. Although if you'd rather like bring out some of the other monsters, you certainly can. As long as it doesn't have like some kind of special summon clause on it. Yeah, see. This one is probably, like, if you're planning to bring out one of the summoning beasts with this Mystic Tomato, this is probably your best choice, since it's basically a better Chaos Summoning Beast, since instead of just being from the hand, it also lets you special summon one of your big guys from the deck, one of your Sacred Beasts from the deck. And it also adds them too. So it can like special summon one, and then now that tribute itself and end up in the graveyard. Hopefully, you now get to add one of them. And if you're wanting to stop this graveyard effect from happening with DD Crow, you just need to remember that you need to do it preemptively before they decide to activate the graveyard effect. So just make sure you're paying attention if you really want to stop that, like the search. You won't be able to stop this past summon, but at least you could stop the search with the DD Crow, as long as you do it right. And then Uriah, they gain like extra attack. Well, this one gains extra attack off of like continuous traps being in the grave, as well as being able to destroy a set spell or trap. And the cool thing about that is that your opponent basically needs to respond preemptively with it, or they don't have a chance to respond to it when it's actually activating its effect. And then Haman can basically act as attack magnet, but it does need to be in defense for that, which does kind of stink. Because if you're attacking with it, then you can't go on the fence with it. So basically you need to choose between one another. Although it does inflict a little bit of burn when it destroys something, which is pretty nice. Raviel can just like get you more tokens. And those tokens, I guess they could be used as like tribute fodder if you really wanted to bring out Yubel through like a tribute summon. Although you could also, I think, use those tokens as like fusion material too. Maybe, I'm not exactly sure. Maybe not. What level are they? Level 1? I don't know. Anyway, Yubel, yeah, and then you also got the Yubel package, which their intentions are basically to make it so that like your opponent's monsters get destroyed and also you inflict damage. Basically, this one's probably going to be the best because while the other two, your opponent actually needs to attack into them, this one you can still attack yourself and you're still able to get the destroy and inflict. So that's pretty nice. And also, well, it does lose the ability to destroy like all monsters on the field with like that the Terran Conan has, but I still think it's better because like you can just attack in something and still get the destruction plus damage effect. And besides, I'm not sure if you really want to like have to destroy all the monsters on the field necessarily anyway. It because like a lot of your monsters don't really want to be destroyed. Like that also will affect you as well. You're not really playing monsters that like have like effects when they're destroyed necessarily. Anyway, Raviel, Lord of Phantasms. This is basically kind of another version of Raviel, Lord of Phantasms. I guess the other two monsters don't have like their alternate versions yet, which is kind of weird, but whatever. I'm not sure if it's like an upgrade version of it or not, but it does have like slightly different effects. Although it does have an effect that helps out your original Raviel to allowing you to make its attack 8,000. So if you want, so maybe you can just go in for a game if you can attack directly at that point, which is pretty cool. And maybe it can go for game even when there's other monsters. If your opponent has a bunch of attack position monsters, because like it can just attack all monsters now. So that's pretty cool. And you can also just tribute a monster to add back to your hand. So actually, I don't think you're looking to bring this out. Just keeping your hand to help out the original Raviel. Maybe go for game a little bit quicker. Oh man. Oh man, I gotta hurry this. Here, I think I'm just gonna cycle. Yeah, so this is the fusion. These are to help, other ways to help, like, get you monsters into the graveyard. I mean, a few of these monsters do have graveyard effects, so that's pretty good. And then Dimensional Fusion Instruction, helping with bring out your fusions. Pairwise map is really good because this is a way to search for like a lot of your starters, since a lot of them will have 0 attack. I mean, it is a pretty big cost, but like if you don't really, but like if you really need to get your play started, like it's good for that. This can like help protect your Sacred Beast from targeting, as well as allowing you to draw 2 cards, so access to draw, so that's pretty nice. Which is especially nice when there's like a lot of the good draw cards, like a lot of the other good draw spells like aren't available. Cerulean, I guess just helps make it easier to bring out Hamon if you really want. It's weird that Hamon can't use, oh wait, yeah, because that calls for face up continuous spells. That's why. Also, it makes it so that you can like have a way to change Hamon to defense position, so that you can get the attack magnet effect going, even if you attacked with it. Yeah, and then also it helps protect your life points if they do manage to destroy your Sacred Beast. Open the Spirit Gates can help. Yeah, Searcher, another Searcher. Metal Reflect Slime is mostly used to help you bring out one of the fusions I'll show in a little bit. Limit Reverse, like you're running a lot of those weaklings, so you, like this is a way to help bring them out of the graveyard. Unfortunately, with the Dark Beckoning Beast, it won't trigger its normal summon effect because it's being special summoned. But the others, you'll still be able to use their like tribute to like special summon a Sacred Beast either from your hand or deck effect. And then this one like helps make it so that you can bring out your Raya a little bit easier. Also helping you to bring out the Sacred Beast from graveyard. So that's one of the reasons you might want to send them to the graveyard for this card, so you can like special summon them out later with this card. And then Awakening, Negation, which is pretty nice. This can act as one as like as a dimensional fissure for your opponent only, which is pretty cool. Yeah, and then also can help like give you a few life points. So it's got ways of helping to protect your life points as well, so you don't die as easily. Phantasm, this is one you can you are running those level 10s, since these kinds level 10s. Yeah, you do have a few, so you are able to bring him out if you really want. Yeah, and then this one can basically help to inflict damage. Egyptian God Slime, this can be easily brought out using the Metal Reflect Slime card. And then you basically just tribute off to bring this out, and then this can act as 3 tribute, or I think you can like use it to bring out the Yubel if you really want to later on, or if you have a normal summon that turn. But it also makes it so that it basically acts as a magnet for effects and or attacks. So this can be the only thing targeted by attacks or effects. Interesting. And then Armatal, it basically acts as a 0 attacker during the opponent's turn. So if you're bringing this out, you probably want to make sure you can get game that turn. Otherwise, your opponent can just attack into a 0 attack. that can't be destroyed by battle. So you might want to also like protect your life points if you're planning to like leave an attack during your opponent's turn. And then this is basically, I guess like an upgrade version of it. And allows you to switch control. And then, yeah, I think I might just have to go through the last deck on Friday. So I can do that along with going over the replays. Like I can show off the last loaner deck and like my own deck on Friday. I can just do that. There we go. And also it can cheat out the Armor Towel. So this is probably the better one to bring out first, since when it cheats it out, hopefully you can do it during a time. Oh wait, but it's during the end phase, so this card's control which changes turn. So you still bring out so that it's like happening during the end phase of your turn, I guess. So I don't know. So I don't know if that really helps that much. Anyway, at least it makes it so that like your opponent has to banish all the cards they control since they'll be the owner. So if you give it to your opponent, you lose the effect of special summoning Armor Towel. And unless your opponent's playing this deck as well, or playing like a deck that uses Armor Towel like in the next deck, happens to be playing Armor Towel in the next deck, which it probably won't. It's basically acts as like a banish all cards they control if you switch control, or you can keep it. But you do have to banish all your cards you control at that point. And like bringing out a zero attack, zero defense. I mean, at least you can bring it out in defense position, and then can't destroy a battle, and then you won't take damage hopefully because like you'll be bringing out in defense unless your opponent has piercing. But most of the time, I think you're using this to banish all cards that the opponent controls. But you can use it either way if you want. Maybe if you don't have like a lot of cards, then you won't feel very much threatened about like having to banish all cards you control. Anyway, Link Rebo. Yeah, this can basically help to stave off attacks a little bit. But it can only change the monsters, the opponent's monster's attack that actually attacks into this to zero. So that kind of stinks a little bit. Although it is pretty easy to bring out again, because I mean, yeah, because you do at least have a few level 1s, so you might be able to bring out again from your graveyard. And then there's Underclock, for taking down higher attack monsters. This can act as more piercing. Witch's Apprentice can give your stuff a boost. Beat Cop can help protect some of your stuff. And then Barricade can also help protect, can help get out your continuous field spells from the graveyard, so it can help record those, as well as help protect the face-up spells that you do have, including the field spells, so that's pretty nice. And then Curious can like act as another way to mill basically whatever card you want to send to your graveyard, whether it be like one of your Sacred Beasts to help you set up for the trap, or the one of the lower level beasts that has like a graveyard effect. Anyway, there's that deck, and then I'm gonna have to finish off talking about the last loan deck and then my own deck in the next video. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed the detailed look at the first two decks. And I'll be leaving the verse in the description, as well as the verse discussion in a pinned comment, and I'll also leave my thank you notes. But if you like a little preview, thank you so much for staying for the anything that had to do with either the news or the or the festival itself. And that'll do it for today's video. Bye.